Hi friends, ugtrb exam உடைய revision 3 வீடியோ இது. இதில் ஏஜ் ஆஃப் போப், ஏஜ் ஆஃப் ஜான்சன் உடைய ஃபுல் MCQs ஃபுல் டீட்டெயிலாக பார்த்துடலாம். நீங்கள் ரிவைஸ் பண்ண இது கண்டிப்பாக ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின், ஏஜ் ஆஃப் போப் 1700 to 1744. Second question, why this age is called the age of pope? The earlier part of 18th century or Augustan age in English literature is called the age of pope because pope was the dominant figure in that period. Third question, what other name is the age of pope called? Augustan age. Fourth question, which king's rule is called Augustan age? King George I of the House of Hanover. Fifth question, who first designated the early 18th century as Augustan age? Oliver Goldsmith. Who devoted himself completely to literature during the age of Pope? Seventh question, the classical school of poetry dominated the poetry of which age? Age of Pope. Eighth question, as Alexander Pope said, metrical form had brought perfection to the poetry of the neoclassical period. Heroic couplet. Ninth question, the admirer of Pope in this worth, if people be not a poet, where is poetry to be found? Dr. Samuel Johnson. 10th question, poet of which period are deficient on the side of emotion and imagination? Age of Pope. 11th question, the 18th century in English literature was also called dash? Age of Reason. 12th question, Alexander Pope considered as greatest poet of the classical period. 13th question, what are the characteristics of the poetry of the age of Pope? Didactic and satirical, poetry of the arguments and criticism of politics and personalities. 14th question, who said Pope is a prince of classicism? Professor Eaton. 15th question, the poets of the age of Pope were interested in what aspects? Town and cultural society. 18th question, who is the supreme master of epigrammatic style of condensing an idea into a line or couplet? Pope. 17th question, the Principles of Human Knowledge was published in 1710 by dash? George Berkeley. 18th question, Jonathan Wild is written by Henry Fielding. 19th question, the poetry of which age is devoid of imagination and emotions? Age of Pope. 20th question, which classical writer did Pope model his satire on? Homer's The Iliad, a classical Greek epic. 21, is Pope was a romantic poet? Pope's satires and poetry of manners did not fit the romantic and Victorian vision of poetry as a product of sincerity and emotion. 22, what is the golden age of satire? Satire was very popular in 18th Europe. In England, this golden age of satire included Alexander Pope and Jonathan Swift. 23, Alexander Pope's best known poems. An Essay on Criticism, 1711. Second, The Rape of the Lock, 1712 to 1714. Third, The Dunciad, 1728. Fourth, An Essay on Man, 1733 to 34. 24th question, what is Pope's idea of successful life? Tread the middle path and avoid leaning on extremes. 25, According to Pope, the most significant characteristic feature of his poetry is dash, correctness. 26. Pope's pastorals were published in 1709. 27. How many epistles are there in Pope's An Essay on Man? 4. 28. Which poets did Pope admire most? Dryden. 29. Pope believed that a work of art must be based on which of the following? Truth. 30th question. Pope took Ars Poetica as a model for his poetry. Who is the author of Ars Poetica? Horace. Next, age of Johnson 1745 to 1798. First question. Who is Samuel Johnson? Born 1709, died 1784. Poet, critic, and author of fiction. Outstanding figure of 18th century England. Second question. Which age is called Age of Sensibility? Age of Johnson. Third question. Who is the father of dictionary? Samuel Johnson. Fourth question. Dr. Johnson was an English writer who made lasting contribution as a dash, poet, playwright, essayist, moralist, literary critic, sermonist, biographer, editor, and lexicographer. Fifth question. Dr. Johnson wrote the Dictionary of English Language between 1745 and 1755. Sixth question. Who wrote first dictionary? Samuel Johnson. Seventh question. Who called Johnson the father of English poetry? It was John Dryden who called Geoffrey Chaucer the father of English poetry. Eighth question. Who are the prose writers of the age of Johnson? Jonathan Swift, Richard Steele, Samuel Johnson, James Bowell, Edmund Brooke, Edward Gibbon. Tenth question. What are the literary features of Johnson age? The age of Johnson, in respect of its poetry, is an age of modernism, transition, and innovation. 10th question. Who were the poets during the age of Johnson? James Thomson, Thomas Gray, William Collins, James Macpherson, William Blake, Robert Burns, William Cowper, and George Crabbe. 11th question. The greatest protagonist of classicism during the later half of 18th century was Dr. Samuel Johnson. 12th question. Who supported Dr. Johnson in the field of poetry? Goldsmith. 13th question. In whom poetry the main romantic characteristic is his minute observation of nature? James Thomson. 14th question. Instead of the closed couplet, who follows the Miltonic tradition of using blank verse? James Thomson. 15th question. What are the title of Johnson's last major work published in 1781? Lives of the Most Eminent. Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets 1779 to 81 is a work by Samuel Johnson. Johnson comprising short biographies and critical appraisals of 52 poets. Thank you for watching, friends. All the best for your exam. Bye.